roads are a mess. It's been under a state of emergency since yesterday, and it will continue until further notice. In fact, Governor Mikie Sherrill declared that state of emergency yesterday. She is joining us now at the very latest. Governor, great to see you. This is the first big storm as you are governor. And how is it looking so far?
Well, it is what we expected. I can tell you, even before I took office, I was working with emergency management to understand what it would take to handle a storm like this. Knowing that I was taking office in January. And then on Inauguration Day, which was just this past Tuesday, we were reaching out to get the latest forecast and preparation. And right now we have, I declared a state of emergency. That allows us extra plows, to have extra salting on the roads, extra equipment. We've got our incline packages. So for a couple tricky areas of the state, which have inclines on them, we can make sure we have extra resources there. I was just speaking to one of our DOT personnel who was saying the group out of West Orange just was able to clear 280 in about 12 minutes from a wreck. But I'll tell you, stay off the roads if you don't have to be on them. We have plowing going on. I'm at the statewide emergency response center for traffic, and I can tell you, as I look everywhere from the Delaware Memorial Bridge up to Bergen County, we are seeing a lot of activity with plowing and salting, but we're still seeing a lot of snow coming down. I was just down in Bordentown at a salt facility to check in on how that was going, and people are working around the clock, but this is a storm the likes of which we really haven't seen in about a decade. So we're working incredibly hard to keep the roads as safe as possible, but unless you have to be on the roads, please stay home.
Now, you talk about the salt facilities and the salt supply. How about areas that were struggling even before this storm to keep up with their salt supply? Some of them were already low. Are you able to make sure that those, especially the smaller municipalities, are going to have the salt that they need to get through not only today, but tomorrow?
Certainly. So as I mentioned, we have been preparing for this storm for the past week. We'd reached out to the port to make sure we had enough salt here. We do. And then we have more shipments coming in. So we are also working for everyone who's going through their salt to be able as quickly as possible to replenish. But we certainly have gotten everyone in touch with the people they need when they've reached out to us to make sure everyone has their salt needs fulfilled.
Governor, I spoke to Chris Calori on Friday about suspending service, which is now what has happened with New Jersey Transit, right? When will you decide that it's safe to run the trains and buses once again to get people if they need to head to work as soon as tomorrow?
I'm talking to Chris almost hourly at this point. As you know, we had suspended light rail and bus service, and now heavy rail. That commuter rail just ended for the day, given the storm, and we were anticipating this kind of ice and sleet conditions. So we're seeing that now. We are hoping that ends overnight. We will get all of our resources up and running as quickly as possible. A lot of that will be dependent on the weather. So we are speaking almost hourly now, and we will make decisions. We are trying to get things up and running sometime tomorrow morning, but those earliest commuting services will likely be impacted. The first public transit we will likely get back up will be our bus service. But again, the earliest morning service will probably be impacted.
Okay, and the snow has been relentless and probably weighing heavy on some of those power lines out there. Is the snow causing any power issues anywhere across the state?
So we anticipated that we would have some difficulties and have surged in mutual aid from states out, across the country, including Ohio, for example. So we were ready. The power companies wanted me to pass on a thanks to the people of New Jersey because since people are staying off the roads, it has enabled them to get and restore power very quickly. Yeah. That is what we want to do. Although with this ice coming in, that weights down the trees, that gets in the power lines, and that's a concern now.
Okay. All good, Governor. I appreciate your time, and I know you're very busy, so we'll let you get back to it. By the way, is your snow meal a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese?
My snow meal has been, since we're visiting the salt facilities and the traffic management facilities, my snow meal has been some pickles and cashews from Wawa.
Okay.
But that Taylor ham and egg sounds great, so maybe it's in my future.
grab yourself a pretzel out while you're at it, too,
exactly.
Governor. Thank you so much for your time.
Sounds good.
All right, and stay safe out there.